What's going on YouTube? Good morning, it is your boy JZTV back with another video. I have a final one about an hour and a half, but first I wanted to give you guys this content. I don't really have to study for it. I have like an 87%. Like I could go for a 90. I'm not really sure if it's gonna happen. I mean, if she drops my grade or whatever, it could. We're here to talk about the 85th and penultimate episode of the HBO television series The Sopranos. This is the 8th episode of the second half of the show's 6th season, the 20th episode of the season overall. And yes, I was right, there are 21 episodes in the final season, and I think actually, I don't think we're gonna watch the next episode till like next week. Kind of build up some anticipation for you guys. But I mean, we could. I don't know. This is a really good episode too, though. This is a really good way to kind of start wrapping the show up. A lot is happening. A lot of people die this episode. This is yeah, and obviously there's a lot of people that aren't going to be around for the last episode because the last episode's going to be uh, dedicated to just a gang war. I'm assuming. So let's get into what happened. Have a bit of a discussion. We're actually going to have a lot to say because this is one of the more important episodes of the series. So let's get into it. So getting into what happens, AJ recognizes another patient, Rhiannon Flammer, who's Hernan O'Brien's old girlfriend, who has had food issues and depression, and she is in here with him. You know, small world type of moment for AJ. After discharge, they continue seeing each other. So yeah, AJ and her eventually get taken out of the mental ward, and they start seeing each other. And AJ's going to possibly have another relationship, which is cool for him. So anyway, Jennifer Melfi is at a dinner party with colleagues, including Elliot Kupferberg. This is like a huge little dinner for all these mental specialists, technicians. I don't know what you would call it. The conversation turns to a recent study claiming criminal sociopaths take advantage of talk therapy, and this is pretty much aimed at Dr. Melfi because she's taking care, she's tending to one of the most infamous criminals probably in the country at this time. Like, if this happened in real life and Tony Soprano was still doing this right now, like, he'd be one of the most notorious criminals in the country. But Kupferberg angers and shocks her by revealing that Tony Soprano is her patient, and it's like, what are you doing? Like, we're trying to have dinner, we're trying to enjoy our time, and you're just throwing me under the bus. Like, it feels like kind of a dickhead thing to do. Um, However, she reads the study at home and is convinced of its findings, and she takes this to heart extremely. She takes her colleague's word for it. And at his next session, Tony wavers between contempt for AJ's depression and gratitude for his inpatient care, and things are starting to boil down. We finally see the end of this, and obviously the show's coming to a close, so we see the end of a lot of things, but especially, Melfi and Mr. Soprano's relationship. So her responses become sarcastic and aggressive. He's starting to catch on. When she says she intends to cease treating him, he is taken back and hurt. We're making progress. It's been 7 years, So, yeah, 1 second, guys. So, anyways, she responds. She says, "Since you are in crisis, I don't want to waste your time." And she's kind of like gaslighting him, I guess. I don't know. Um, yeah. So she waits for him to go, then closes the door on him, and she's she's uh she's very like real about this. She's like, and she's serious. Sorry, I can't focus. People are texting me left and right. But she's like, I'm treating you. She saw this study and she realizes like she's helping someone commit more crimes based on a study, I guess. So Janice tells Tony that, as far as they can tell, Junior's money has run out, and she asks him to contribute together with her and Bobby so that he does not have to go into a state institution. Like, are you kidding me? You really think Tony is going to do that? That's pretty ridiculous that you would even think that. I mean, obviously, Tony scornfully refuses. He's like, no way. My uncle killed me. Like, almost killed me. Like, are you kidding me? Why would I ever help that man out? I don't care if he was in like a fit of dementia or whatever. I don't care. Um, but yeah, anyways, Silvio Garot's soprano soldier Bert Gavassi, who's been negotiating with the New York family. He's been bouncing around between families, helping him out, kind of what Tony B was doing like a season or two ago. Phil speaks contemptuously to Albie and Butchie about this pygmy thing over in Jersey. I'm not really sure what they're referring to as that. But yeah, We decapitate and do business with whatever's left, he says. Make it happen. You know, he's trying to get down to business. He feels like Tony's kind of like a fake mob boss and whatnot. So Butchie and Albie meet with their own subordinates and order the murders of Tony, Silvio, and Bobby to be done in one 24-hour period. And I mean, I guess Phil just ordered that, which is super crazy, and it doesn't seem very characteristic for any of the guys because, I mean, yeah, Tony is like your rival family, but you still have to have respect for him to a degree. But this is war. I mean, this is the final straw. The show is ending, so I guess the creators were like, "Fuck it, we're just gonna throw them at each other, see what happens." So yeah, they order the hits on all of these guys. These three, seem to be like the top three most important in the New Jersey family, and obviously on the surface, Bobby isn't that important, but he's super close to Tony. But the police learn that something is going on, and Agent Harris warns Tony that his life may be in danger. And like, actually, this time, like, you need to pack up your family and go somewhere. But yeah, so Tony decides to act first and kill Phil using the cousins, the Italian hitman who performed the hit arresting Emilio not too long ago. So he needs to do something first, because if he doesn't, he's putting everyone else in the mob in danger. So he's gonna have to take this into his own hands. So the order is eventually passed down to Corky Caporale, who makes contact with them. I think Corky is like the little heroin addict guy. But Phil is in hiding, and they killed the wrong man, the father of Phil's Gomare, and killed his Gomare too. It's kind of a crazy connection, really, how they did that. So yeah, let's see, 1 second. So moving on, Tony realizes the urgent danger, and he realizes like this is a real thing. He orders Silvio to tell everyone in the family to go to their safe house, but it is too late for a couple of these guys. But yeah, so almost simultaneously, Bobby is killed in a model railway store, and leaving the bottoming together, Silvio and Patsy are intercepted by two Lupertazzi hitmen. Silvio is shot several times and severely wounded. The doctors say he may never regain consciousness, and he might, continue to live in a comatose state for the rest of his life. Which you might as well kill the guy. I don't know. Patsy escapes unhurt. He's running away, which seems kind of cowardly, but I mean he is saving his own life, so I mean you can't really be that mad about it. But yeah, Tony goes home and breaks the news to Carmela. Obviously, she is freaking out. She's like, "What the hell? Why do we have to leave like this?" He's going to a safe house. She must go to some other safe place. And obviously Rosalie's there with them, and she's kind of like hearing the conversation. She's like, "I heard too much. I think I need to go." So he goes upstairs to AJ's bedroom, where he now spends most of his time. He's still kind of in a depressed state. I mean, obviously the therapy helped a little bit. He's not really having suicidal thoughts, but he's sitting up there, kind of chilling out. Rhiannon, I don't know how to say her name, is there, and Tony sends her away. She's like, "You know what? Yeah, obviously AJ is in bed, laying down while she's like kind of talking to him and all this type of stuff." Tony tries to explain things gently, like he starts his, it's crazy because you have to really watch Tony and see like how he fathers his children now, because he's really learning some things. So he starts gently. When AJ starts whimpering and crying, he pulls him out of bed and throws him onto the floor. He's like, "I'm done with this. I'm getting fucking impatient with this kid. Like, what are you doing, man?" But at night, Tony, Paulie, Carlo, Walden, Belfiore, and Dante Greco drive to an old suburban safe house somewhere where they won't be traced and all this stuff. So Tony goes upstairs and lies down fully clothed, holding the AR-10 rifle that Bobby gave him for his birthday, kind of having visions of him and like being reminded of him. So yeah, that's pretty much what happens. Speaking of happenings, obviously Bert Gervasi was corroded to death by Silvio Dante for betraying his crime family and working with the Lupertazzis. Alec Kastropovic was the Ukrainian mistress's father. He was shot dead in the head by Italo, the Italian hitman, who mistook him for Phil Leotardo, who he was supposed to murder on orders from Tony Soprano to eliminate the Lupertazzi threat to his crime family. Then you get Yarina Kastropovic, who's Phil Leotardo's Ukrainian mistress. She was shot in the abdomen and then shot dead in the head by Italo, murdered for being present at the failed Leotardo hit. Can't leave witnesses. And then Bobby Baculari was shot to death by two Lupertazzi hitmen on orders from Phil Leotardo as part of Phil's move to quickly wipe out the DeMeo family's management after continued long arguments and fights between the two families. So yeah, we've kind of hit the boiling point for this show. Like, people are getting tired of each other. They're wanting to take each other out. It's getting pretty crazy. So yeah, let's get into the reception and then in the video. Or obviously, sorry, there's been a lot of characters that won't be a part of the show anymore. So yeah, very long time characters. Jennifer Melfi was Tony Soprano's psychotherapist since the start of the series. Originally contacted to help treat his panic attacks, Tony also used his talk therapy sessions to deal with stresses in his life and gain advice on how to act in his personal and criminal life. Melfi was at times Tony's romantic interest, though his advances were rebuffed. Arthur Artibuco was a restaurateur, owner of Nuovo Vesuvio, a common mobster hangout, and Tony's close friend from childhood. After the fallout with Davies Catino in 2000, essentially Tony's only remaining civilian friend. One of his only friends that's not in the gang. Then you get Charmaine Bucco, who's the wife of Artie Bucco and a childhood friend of Carmela and Tony Soprano. Throughout the series, she urged Artie not to deal with the mobsters in his career and life, but eventually started to seemingly tolerate their gatherings in their restaurant. And then Elliot Kupperberg was Melfi's own psychotherapist and mentor, who often urged her to drop Tony Soprano as a patient. Also, an enthusiast of the mafia. Like, he's actually really interested in it. He just doesn't want to treat anybody. So yeah, that's all the characters, all like the impactful things that happened. Those are the four characters that we won't see in this finale. So yeah, I'm out, guys. We're gonna go through the critical reception real quick. So getting into kind of what I think of the episode, what other people think of the episode, it's great. It's awesome. It's one of the best episodes of the series. Just so many things happened here. The episode's pacing and efficient build of suspense. The execution of the gunfire scenes towards the end of the episode, all really good, really strong moments for the show. This is going to be a long episode, by the way. We have a lot to talk about. The story elements concerning the escalation of the conflict between the rivaling mafia families of the show was great. The conclusion that it brought to the professional and personal relationship between the characters Tony Soprano and Jennifer Melfi was great, because that was one of the centerpieces of this show. The episode's great. The way we're beginning to close the door on the lives of some people and get an idea on who will be around at the end and who won't, and we're treated as something thrilling, not only in story but visually as well. It's a great episode. It's one of the better episodes of TV I've seen in a long time. Chase orchestrated the tension to a full crescendo. In this penultimate episode, which David Chase co-wrote, you can see the veil of surprise, of artistic feints, red herrings, the theory baiting, and any other cool narrative device totally vanish. It's as if things snuck up on us. Time is not just running out, it's almost gone for this show. Action needed to step forth and be counted, and so, true to form historically, the second to last episode had more than its fair share of big moments, for sure. Bobby's death scene was priceless and really well done. No sad music, no slow motion, no teary funeral, no time for condolences. When the blood-dimmed tide finally rolled in during this episode's penultimate one, an eerie quiet settled in, and it's crazy. You're kind of sitting there in silence, like, holy shit, this was amazing. It was great. TV's landmark family crime drama went on a bloody rampage, just as I kind of expected might happen in the next to last episode. It was a sensational way to get me primed for the series finale. Not us. What am I talking? I guess you guys might be watching it with me. But the second to last episode was certainly a classic. The suspenseful storytelling was great. It's awesome. Every moment in this bloody, bullet-riddled penultimate episode is about regular, familiar, old ways that have now gone terribly, irreversibly awry. And in the last hours of this epic drama, every detail glitters with bitter meaning. Every moment on the show has meaning. The most atypically typical whackfest the show has served up in quite some time in an orgy of mafia mayhem. This is just throwing shit on the wall, and a lot of it is sticking for them right now. The final therapy scene between Tony Soprano and Jennifer Melfi had a lot of depth. I really liked that. One of the best, and certainly one of the busiest episodes in the history of The Sopranos. It's a superb, scary, thrilling episode. Bobby's death scene was a little masterpiece of editing, mind-blowing, intense. I didn't really expect David Chase to take the show out with this much gunfire. It's great. So yeah, overall, Blue Comet was very, very well done. Sometimes shocking build up to the series finale. So yeah, I don't really have much to say. I know this is going to be a long ass video, but these are super important episodes of the series. So yeah, I gotta get going. I gotta clean some stuff up, get these clips together, get going, man. I got a final here in like an hour, 15 minutes, so I'm gonna start kind of packing my shit up and doing all that, editing this video, getting it posted. So yeah, obviously NBA basketball. I think there's 3 games on tonight. My Celtics play Thunder Pelicans and Lakers Nuggets. So if there are any good games tonight, 2 series that might end tonight, we're going to be talking about it. So yeah, now guys, have a good rest of your day. Peace.